They are lined up, ready to go. 24 athletes for the 24 teams represented in the mixed relay. And wearing bib 1 as the winners of the first mixed relay of the season, France, with Lou Jean-Monod on a high after her third place in the short individual yesterday. Jean Richard, the youngster, takes the second leg. And then Eric Perrault and Quentin Fillon-Maillet has been trusted with the anchor leg. It will be a rocky, rough ride for the French, but they certainly have the quality. But they all need to be on form. You just can't afford one bad leg in the relay nowadays. What an event the mixed relay is. Introduced to give the smaller nations, those nations who don't have 7, 8, 9 world-class athletes, a chance of competing. Italy have benefited, Sweden have certainly benefited, the Czech Republic have done well in the past. But can anyone contend with the big three? France, Norway and Germany. Nuna, as he's done many times, gets them underway. A clean start as they head out of the stadium. Ian, you've raced here. What sort of pace would you like to set over the first, sort of 600 metres as they work up to the road crossing?
Well, it's a slow, long climb up to the highest point on the course, and it is a fairly tough start. As you go out under the bridge here, then it starts to rise up, and it tends to be colder, one of the coldest part of the course. So the skis don't glide so well along there until you cross the road and start heading up the hill. I think Dorothy Vera didn't want it to be a particularly fast start. She would want to be in the first few there, and I think Italy, with Dorothy going off first, I think they expect to win today. I think that's a sign of their developing strength in the Italian camp, particularly when you consider that they don't have Hoffer, their long-time, if you like, I wouldn't call him his secret weapon, but if you've got him to go last, then he's someone who can push really hard, and he has had success here in Antholz.
He certainly has. I think Biatlon might be the key leg for the Italians. He's on leg number 3. You can hear the squeaking and the creaking of the baskets as they hit the snow, and that an indication that the temperature is dropping. And as you said, they are now in the coldest part of the course. No sunshine, and the skis gliding that little bit slower on the brittle snow crystals, and up and over the road. And then they climb up through the meadows again. It is a stunning, stunning course. If they don't turn right at that stage, they'll end up in Austria in about 20 minutes' time. There's a big climb up to the pass. Jean-Monod taking the responsibility of leading the way for France, and the French looking in to win 4 in a row. And the only other team to have achieved that is Norway, who did that in 21-22.
Yeah, there's got to be still a question mark, I think, over Fillon-Maillet, isn't there? You know, he just hasn't produced anything like the performance that we're used to seeing from him in years gone by. And I no longer could, we're guessing as to what that might be. Has the success, the pressure of being such a superstar after the Olympics, had a sort of a long-term effect on Fillon-Maillet?
Yeah, tough one to answer. I think the overtraining.
Так, всем привет, ребят.
He was quite happy to admit that he got a little too enthusiastic after
Смешанная эстафета. Две женщины, две мужчины.
Never really got into his groove last year, and we certainly haven't seen the best of him this year. I think a lot of people would be delighted to see a good performance by Fillon-Maillet today, but that is a long way off. Jean-Monod is
Франция на первом месте.
She is in tremendous form. Her ski time yesterday was sensational in the women's short individual. She only missed one target, but one less, and she would have been the winner. Look at that margin she's opened.
That's extraordinary, isn't it? She really skied so powerfully up there. Skate 2 all the way up is much steeper than it looks. And I think there was
Ребят, ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал. Кому нравится трансляция про биатлон. Будем всем рады.
The French will have mixed feelings. They'll be delighted that she's showing everyone else how to do it, but they'll also be a little bit nervous that she's got out of control before shoot number one.
Well, she isn't the most experienced athlete on the field.
Отметка 1 километр 700 метров.
Great maturity despite her lack of experience. Would you agree?
Absolutely, I would. But part of that.
И Жомано на первом месте, Арни Клев 3,9, Бассерка 4,7, Жакела 5,5, Магнусон 6,4, Клементич 7,5. Отрывается Франция на порядок выше своих конкурентов, чувствует в себе силы.
And over the years, you get a couple of athletes that always come good when they come to Antolz.
When they discover that they can cope with altitude, there's a little smile that generates inside your guts, and you look forward to that every time you go up Pokluk, Soldier Hollow, and certainly here in Anterselva.
Итак, первая стрельба.
The venue, of course, an Italian name and a German name, which is why you'll sometimes hear it called as Antolz, sometimes Anterselva. Arne Clive of Norway. Well, she really needs the first target to fall. France should be early strikers, but those further down the range in position.
Швейцария промах, Норвегия промах, Словения промах, Норвегия 2, Франция чисто, Италия чисто, Братейвер, Швеция чисто, Анна Магнусон, Германия, Финляндия, Украина, Бельгия, Чехия чисто. Арни Клев только сейчас закончила.
Yeah, watch for the time margin. So 2 spare rounds loaded by Arne Clive. She was one of the early ones in. Generally, we say 7 seconds for each one. A bit longer for Arne Clive. 17.6 given away. So what are we going to say? So that 8.5 seconds per missed shot.
Латвия уже на штрафной круг. Румыния штрафной круг.
Guarantee that they will not make the end of the race. 6 teams lapped in this morning's single mix relay. Hopefully it won't be the same today or this afternoon.
Ребят, прожмите лайки, чтобы продвинуть трансляцию в топ. Пожалуйста, кому не трудно.
That margin before she comes in to give herself 1 or 2 spare rounds with the second shoot, the stand shoot.
Показывает Жомано на стрельбу.
But that is the sort of shoot that keeps Jean-Pierre happy.
Очень рада. Тренер по стрельбе.
Up towards 2.7 each leg, 6 kilometers.
За свою подопечную.
So, getting close to the halfway stage. They've still got the standing shoot to come on this first leg. Technically, any comments?
Well, I think Jean Monod technically is very good. She's still
Так,
got some
2
more
километра
dynamic
700.
nature to build into her technique, and she's still young, so that will come with strength. But there isn't a single thing I see in Jean
Тамингас
Monod's
второе
technique
место
that would be
8,3.
incorrect or
Магнусон
unorthodox, shall we
8,9.
say.
Хэтик Вальц, Германия 9,4. Арни Клев 9,9. Ребят, кто хочет поддержать канал по трансляции, ссылка есть, можете поддержать, если хотите. Христова, 17-я, Болгария.
Martin Foucault, Bjorn Dahlen approach to every race is a new opportunity to improve.
Yeah, absolutely with you.
Догоняет Амингас,
Athlete certainly,
Эстония.
and she has got herself up into the top 7 of the World Cup standings and is less than 200 points behind the leader. Jomanu, some 40 meters up the track ahead of the chasing pack, and certainly the pressure is still there. One missed shot and that advantage could disappear so easily, and someone out of that chasing pack is definitely going to go 5 with 5 on this next shoot. Sweden in there on the right of your picture, team 15 having a good run so far. That's Poland with Jakiela.
Так, подходит девушке к следующей стрельбе.
I always think it's quite bold to put in a hard relay when you've got an individual race coming up the next day.
Yeah, I think so, but I also think that Jomanu always looks like she's having fun. Unless things are going very bad for her, she looks like she really enjoys competing, enjoys the races. There's always a look in her manner that suggests she's having
Франция
fun.
лидирует на данный момент. 3,7 километра. Посмотрим, сколько отставания. Ребят, всем привет, кто заходит. Спасибо, что зашли. Арни Клев, второе место, 9,2. Норвегия. Жакела, Польша, третье место.
Good influence to have in the team, and the French, of course, with Breza Boucher and Simon Jomanu now, 3 of the world's best.
Ребят, проставьте лайки, чтобы продвинуть трансляцию в топ. Пожалуйста, кому не трудно.
Breza Boucher being rested today, incidentally. I think that's a wise decision. You know, that unbelievable purple patch that she had just before Christmas, and it sort of ran into the early parts of Oberhof. Seems to have vanished now, so she's got to rest up wherever she can to keep her bid for the overall title alive,
Итак,
and of course to get
стойка.
herself in some sort of shape for the World Championships. So France with a 5-second lead coming into the
Жоману начинает.
on the first leg of this 4x6 mixed relay.
Промах.
Well, there's that first miss.
Спасибо за ответ.
Спасибо большое за донат. Спасибо.
Rapid shooting, no hesitation after the miss, and Jomanu let off the hook. Italy are the ones who've come through, as have Sweden, and Dorothea Vera has done just what the team management wanted.
Спасибо, ребята. Я не знаю, кто это кинул, но спасибо большое. Кто хочет поддержать? Ссылка под трансляцией, если что. И первое Жоману, второе Анна Магнуссон, Доротея Вирер, третье Джуния Арни Клев, четвертое 9,7 Хэти Квальц, Анастасия Меркушина, шестое Тамара Стейнер, седьмое Канада, восьмое, девятое Бассерба.
Two teams on the penalty loop after the first shoot.
Спасибо, ребят, кто кинул донат.
In fact, make that 3.
Честно, мне не показало, кто. Не знаю, почему, что-то наралгануло.
Klemencic of Slovenia just exiting.
Я что-то и не настроила, короче.
That will certainly be over the minute by the time they come into the first exchange.
Давно не транслировала просто.
Jomanu, well, I guess you could argue, Ian, that the tactics paid off. She built a little bit of a lead, lost the advantage with that missed shot, the first shot on her final shoot, but still comes out in top spot.
Yes, and it was only just a miss, wasn't it? It was almost a half hit, nearly put it down. And she did come into the range very measured. She about 50-70 meters out, started to ease off. She wanted to get the shoot right.
Анна Магнуссон преследует, не отпускает. Арниклев 5 секунд сокращает. Доротея Вирер. Ребят, проставьте лайки, пожалуйста, кто зашел. Сергей, он завтра будет. Сегодня смешанные эстафеты. Спасибо за лайки, ребят. Проставьте, кто еще не поставил, чтобы вывести трансляцию в топ. Спасибо. Сергей Мирный, завтра будут мастарты. Будем смотреть и болеть. Спасибо, спасибо, ребят, за лайки. Вы лучшие. Так, борьба накаляется.
Is certainly from that shot looks as though she's closing a little bit. She was 9.7 behind coming out of the range, so she's gained on the two leaders. She's having a really storming performance. That's a better picture. Shows you she's still some.
О нет, лаги опять пошли, да, ребят? Ну что за, блин, за трэш?
For the first exchange, and Germany are there or thereabouts. They were 15 seconds. It looks to be.
Надеюсь, сейчас пройдут. Надеюсь, они сейчас пройдут эти лаги. Ну что такое за издевательство?
Yeah, Vera is a long, long way from her best, and I would not be surprised if this is the last time she ever races here in Antolz. It'll be very, very sad because she's been a brilliant servant to the Italian team, and she's been a great ambassador for Biatlon as a whole.
Yes, she has. It would be sad, and it would be a shame because she's not likely to win tomorrow. If tomorrow is her last race on home soil, then it's not looking likely to be a Dorothy Vera day. I wouldn't have thought.
Что все лагать начало, я не знаю почему.
Her lack of ski speed at the moment.
I'm not even sure she would get a start tomorrow, to be honest.
Вроде прошло, да. Прошли лаги, ребят, напишите, please. У меня такое бывает почему-то. Эльвира Оберг готовится. Слава Богу. Ребят, ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал. Тут Биатлон. Кто хочет поддержать канал по трансляции, ссылка есть. У кого есть желание. Итак, смотрим на передачу эстафеты. Второй этап. Франция первая, Швеция недалеко, Норвегия догнала. За Францию побежит Ричард, за Швецию Эльвира Оберг, за Норвегию Каролин Кноттен, за Германию София Шнайдер.
Losing some 19 seconds on that last lap. Belgium still in the top 10. That's if they can hold that position through to the end, that would be celebrated. Could be in a good battle with the Canadians. And Ian, we always focus on the leading teams as we see Switzerland coming in and through that first exchange.
Наверное, просто закрыт почему-то.
the teams here have personal battles, just like in an individual race. You have your target, your aim, your goals. It's exactly the same with the relays. Do the coaches voice them in the team meeting, say, okay, guys, we are aiming for a top 10?
For sure. I think it's always good to have a goal for the day that isn't, simply either to win the race or not. And quotas matter so much. So it is interesting that the third or fourth athlete in a team, when they're in the individual races, if it's not going well, they still have to push hard, because if they lose the points on the World Cup point system, then it's that third or fourth start place that they then lose going into the next races or the next season. So it's their position in the team that is at stake. And I think that's a very, very helpful aspect to the point system. The difficulty is the lower teams struggle to achieve enough points to increase their quota on the World Cup stage. Always really difficult.
Absolutely, and the less athletes you have, the less opportunity you have to gain those points. The rich get richer. It happens. So the leading three teams in the mixed relay, Sweden just pulling ahead of France and Norway. Elvira Öberg doing good work on the opening part of this leg. She's got one more big climb to come before she'll turn and head back towards the range for her first shoot in the prone position. And the Swedes are really disappointing. 6th place in Östersund at the start of the season. They've only won one of these mixed relays in the World Cup. They did, of course, take the world title.
Ладно, все показываю. Сори. Извините, пожалуйста. Эльвира Оберг вырывается на первое место. За ней Каролин Кноттен. Лиза Витоцци. Хейки Лена Гросс. Юлия Джима. Бежит, вижу. Это я не знаю, кто.
The fan numbers here in Antolz, we always promote it as the sunniest of the World Cups, which generally it is. It's been a mixed bag this week, but when you compare it to the cross-country, I don't know if you were watching the cross-country World Cup in Oberhof yesterday, it was like a ghost town.
Yeah, such a shame, isn't it? I mean, Oberhof is a brilliant venue for the races. The crowds.
Эльвира Оберг первая, Каролин Кноттен 1 секунду, Ричард 3.7, Витоцци 9.1, Хейки Гросс 11.7, Шнайдер 13.8, Юлия Джима 19.9, Маркета Давидова.
Hopefully they'll have better attendance today. Well, already Latvia are in danger of being lapped. Now they must have been on the penalty loop. They've done 2 laps already, so hence they find themselves a long way behind. Each loop is only 2
Как вы думаете, ребят, кто как отстреляет? Первую Лёшку во втором этапе.
Some of the guys will be quicker than that to go round the loop.
Кстати, тут должна бежать где-то Анна Мария Лампич. О. Но что-то ее не видно. Смотрим, ребят. Кто же начнет первый выстрел? Норвегия начала. Каролин Кноттен. Промах Кноттен. Лиза Витоцци. Чисто. Лиза Витоцци. Швеция. Промах. Норвегия закрывает. Швейцария промах, закрывает Лена Хейки Гросс. Швеция закрывает. Лиза Витоцци первая. Каролин Кноттен 4.5. Ребят, проставьте лайки, кому не трудно, кто зашел. продвинуть трансляцию. Подписывайтесь на канал, будут трансляции биатлона. Хайки Гросс, 3:12. Эльвира Обер, 13:4. Спасибо, ребят, спасибо за лайки. Спасибо. Юпи, 8. Словения, Анна-Мария Лампич, 2 промаха. Анна-Мария Лампич разволновалась. Промах опять. Бедная Анна-Мария Лампич. Штрафной круг у Анны-Марии Лампич, ребят.
So, the race has changed so much, hasn't it? Vitozzi, just a brilliant ski, and that superb shoot. Completely relaxed. It didn't seem to be rushed. There was exactly the same amount of interval between each round, so that always suggests she was on autopilot doing.
Ребят, поддержите лайками, пожалуйста. Подпишитесь на канал. Кому нравится биатлон, трансляция. Мой канал об этом. Проводим вместе время. Италия может победить. Если Бианас пройдет хорошо.
Oh, it's so difficult, isn't it? I think Vitozzi, the fact that she hasn't gained 2 or 3 seconds by this point, we know she can. I think, I'm just hoping, Patrick, I'm hoping that she's playing an intelligent game today. I hope she's given herself a really good talking to. She hasn't been as good as she can be here so far on home soil, and I would love to see her today just do everything right, and let's see the Vitozzi.
Вот это Будулай кинул, Будулай, 50 рублей, спасибо. Наконец-то я увидела. Кто это кинул? Будулай, спасибо. Если ты еще тут. Ребят, поддержать канал можно, ссылка по трансляции, кто хочет, у кого есть желание. Лиза Витоззи, лидер Италия. После первой стрельбы, после лёжки. Маркета Давидова с Ричардом бегут. София Шнайдер.
After 60 meters, I had Vasberg on top of one ski and a Czech skier on top of the other, and I was down on the floor, right at the back of the pack, never to see the rest of the field again. It can go so wrong. But as you say, you learn from your mistakes and you learn from the bad experiences.
Yeah, and I think I'm hoping that's what happened with Vitozzi this weekend. It really hasn't gone well. And she knows that the crowd adore her. She's a super star here. They love her and they want to see her perform well.
Я, наверное, за Италию болею все-таки, ребят. Хочу, чтобы Италия победила. На родной земле, как говорится. Им будет очень приятно победить.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that she's come back from such a dark period when she couldn't hit a single target in the prone position, that is why she has so much respect. And I sometimes feel in Italy, it's a bit like football teams. You either support Vera or you support Vitozzi. She has an equal number of fans. And if she goes 5 with 5 on this second shoot, then she is going to be rising up through the ranks. Her stock will be going through the roof. Here she is. Big moment for the Italians.
Стойка второго этапа. Лиза Витоцци на ваших экранах. Промах. Один промах, как с пулемета стреляет. Молодец, Лиза Витоцци. Швейцария промах. Швеция промах. Норвегия чисто. Каролин Кнотен. Швейцария закрывает. С одним доп. Патроном это Лена Хеки-Гросс. Каролин Кнотен проигрывает 9 секунд. Хеки-Гросс 14,6. Эльвира застрелилась, но все-таки закрыла последним патроном. Чехия закрывает. Ричард, молодая француженка. Эльвира 39 секунд, много. Украина, Австрия. Украина может. Австрия закрывает первым допом. Украина вторым. Франция не может попасть. Молодая француженка Ричард подводит свою команду. Но все-таки на четвертом круге не ушла. Польша промах. Канада промах. Бельгия 2 промаха. Болгария промах. Ребят, ставьте лайки, если вам нравится трансляция. Не забывайте. Если вам не трудно, поставьте. И подпишитесь на канал. Спасибо, спасибо, кто ставит лайки. Каролин Кнотен. Мне кажется, Витоцци догоняет. Такое чувство, что сокращается отставание. Анна-Мария Лампич, 13 место. Стойку, значит, она закрыла.
From, I think, disaster there. And I wonder how much the pressure there is on Vitozzi, because Dorothy Vera has become known on this range in front of this crowd for doing that. I wonder how much that plays into
кто хочет поддержать канал, по трансляции есть ссылка, если есть желание. Но мне кажется, Лизу Витоцци догоняет. Может, конечно, да. Лена Хеки-Гросс обгоняет. Обгоняет Каролин Кнотен. Она не намерена уступать. Маркета Давидова борется с Эльвирой Оберг. София Шнайдер позади бежит.
Sweden with 4, Czech Republic with 4, Norway with 4, Switzerland have missed 5 and they're still up in second place. The Italians so far, along with the Austrians, have only missed 1 target.
That's how you do it, isn't it? It was so impressive to watch.
Борьба накаляется. Все непредсказуемо, конечно. 11,7 километра. Смотрим. Лена Хэкигросс 10:1. Отставание увеличилось, было 9. Значит, это только казалось, что они приближаются. Эльвира Оберг на 4-м месте. Смотрим отставание. 38. По-моему, было 39 у Эльвира. На 9 секунд она отыграла. У Хэки было 14. Это у Кнотен было 9, да. Да, Схат, все верно. Лена Хэкигросс приблизилась.
Yeah, and of course the rifle weighs the same for everyone. So the lighter you are, the higher percentage it is.
Лиза Витоци передает Дида Бианазу. Швейцария. Бухгалтер Тарибё у Норвегии. 8,4 сократила, конечно же, на 6 секунд. Получается, Лена Хэкигросс. Швеция. Яспер Нейлен. У Чехии Йонас. Не успел прочитать. Следующая Германия. София Шнайдер передает Йоханнес Киону.
Yeah, I think that was the best handover we've ever seen in biathlon. We've always commented on the fact that the outgoing athlete tends to stand static far too long.
На 7-м месте Анна Юппи. Феликс Лайтнер за Австрию. Это Украина, Юлия Джима бежит.
Two laps completed.
Юлия
The first 8
Джима.
teams through the exchange now as Ukraine come through almost a
Денис
minute and a half behind. Their shooting hasn't been bad. The Austrians, Ian, they've still only missed one target, but they're a minute 11 down. And that sort of indicates where their issues have been, the speed on the tracks. And how about this? France,
Эрик Перо
43. No, they haven't done a
за
penalty route, but
Францию.
poor old Jean Richard had an absolute nightmare on that standing shoot.
Yeah, she's going to have to watch the replay with some comforting words.
Не задела, да. Она не задела его, что ли? Показали, как будто бы не задела. Франция не задела, значит, все исключение. Не передала эстафету.
I was just looking at that exchange from the Italians. So
Как будто бы не задела, показали, да, ребят?
because there was a question mark over whether there had been contact. You don't disqualify the Italians in Antolz, surely. Hopefully it was nothing to do with
Ребята,
that.
проставьте лайки, пожалуйста, для продвижения трансляции. И подпишитесь на канал, если вам не трудно.
He has a problem. Tadebo is behind him, and then Norway have Johannes Tingesbø on their last leg. So Norway is still hot favourites to win this. Switzerland, a podium would be fantastic for them.
Какую чушь несу?
The halfway point of the mixed relay here in Antolz, the penultimate day of racing in this fabulous resort. And it's Italy,
Филра, какую чушь я несу?
from Norway and Switzerland. It's an
Просто
unlikely
комментирую.
leaderboard at this stage, but so often in the
И
relays,
всё.
the big three come through in the end. Germany have work to do if they're going to feature
Дида
at the latter
Бианаз.
stages. 51 seconds behind last time we saw them.
13,7 километров,
France,
смотрим.
who are one of those big three,
Тарибё проигрывает
1:43
7,8.
behind. Surely they can't get a podium from there.
Про непередачу с Франции.
Josh Burkhardt, he's got an opportunity ahead of him now. Needs to not panic.
Зачем чатом стрельбу закрывать? Ну, сейчас наберу, подождите.
Hit 5 with 5 and you'll still be somewhere near the front of this race. That would be a great position for Switzerland to be in going into the fourth leg of this mixed relay.
Надеюсь, Италия победит. Я честно болею за Италию.
Has he been in a pressure situation like this before? Not very often.
Первая стрельба третьего этапа. Лёшка. Молодой итальянец против опытного норвежца. Это будет интересно. Италия промах. Норвегия промах. Норвегия второй промах. Давай, дядя Бианас, попади. Норвегия закрывает первым допом. Швейцария два промаха. Норвегия вторым допом закрывает. Швеция чисто, если Неллин. Чехия чисто.
Oh, after all that good work from Heikki Gross, sad to see Switzerland dropping out of the podium positions, but there is time to
6-2 проигрывает Тарибио Неллин. 14-3. Марат, Майорчик. В общем, Швейцария, а Чехия 15-5. Не знаю, какую правильно читать. Марат. Не знаю, чешский.
That's a remarkable shoot from him, and the Czech Republic going with them from 33.9 to 15.5. So good gains.
Германия. Бухгалтер. Шестое.
Down into sixth position. Kern of Germany at 37. Benny Doll on the last leg, I think.
Ребят, поставьте лайки, пожалуйста, подпишитесь на канал. Кто хочет поддержать канал, ссылка по трансляции. Австрия. Чисто. Вторым с двумя доп. Патронами, точнее. Феликс Арутина, я не вижу флага.
For the likes of the French, and as we saw, the Swedes, providing you can.
У меня нет флангов.
Bianats losing 2 seconds so far to Norway. Sweden were at 14.3, they're now at 18, so Nellin not quite matching Bianats for ski speed.
14,7 километров.
18.7, so he's lost 3 seconds as well.
Тарибио уже прыгает 5,7. А, лагает. Ну, блин, я не знаю, что такое. Опять началось. Наверное, проблема с интернетом, ребят, сори. Может, сейчас восстановится. Ребят, поддержите лайком, кому нравится мое комментирование. Просто качество видео низкое. Низкое?
Getting himself psyched up, delighted to see the targets go down in the end. So the Italians are still there, but the lead has been cut in three. From 18, they're down to 6.2 clear of Norway, and they will be in for the final shoot on this third leg very, very shortly. And then Jacamel, if everything's equal coming out of the range this time, Ian, Jacamel is going to be up against the world's best, perhaps the best ever biathlete.
Do you know, I suspect Jacamel is one of the few. There's probably 2 or 3 athletes only who would relish the opportunity to race Johannes Tinger's bow today. And I think that's because he knows he's on good form, and he knows Johannes, even though he won the other day, he knows he's not as superb as he often is.
I'm absolutely with you. I think I'd put Campbell right in that.
2-3 уж проигрывает Тарибио.
The youngsters.
And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Now Nellin is playing a canny game here. Didn't want to go ahead and do all of the work. Knows it's a long race, or still a long way to go
Третье
before
место
the end of this
Чехия.
race. And after this morning's awful performance from Sweden, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to mess up. He wants to get this.
Ну да,
right.
нажмите
He knows he can
качество.
come in and shoot 5 with 5. But that won't happen if he rushes and puts himself under too much pressure.
Качество высокое, если вы на телефоне смотрите. На такую шестеренку и нажмите качество высокое. Да, итальянец молодой, волнуется, переживает. Посмотрим, как же он отстреляет. Италия первый попала. Второй промах. Тарибио промах. Третий Италия попала. По одному промаху у Норвегии и Италии. Италия закрывает, Норвегия закрывает. Леха. Понятно. Чехия 2. Два промаха. Первым Швеция, Чехия закрывает. Штрафной круг у Чехии. У Швеции один допатрон на одну незакрытую мишень. Еспер Неллин. Германия тоже испытывает очень большие проблемы. Johannes Kern пока закрывает. Штрафной круг у Германии.
And a silence in the German contingent of the crowd here. He breaks to his right, 150 meters to ski as France exit in 6th position.
Well, I mean, it's looking like France might make the podium after all.
Ребят, ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал, кому нравится. Можете поддержать канал, ссылка под трансляцией. Всего охоты и желания. Феликс Лайтнер, 8. Надоели норки, прям везде они на допах сидят. Не иначе. Ну, я тоже так думаю. Даже Каролин Кнот там. Которая как черепаха бежала. Начала бегать нормально.
And if Johannes Tinger's bow is vulnerable, it's when he's got someone who's quick enough to stay with him. And we've seen that with Jacques Alain on many occasions in this stadium as well during the World Championships. Here's the burst of speed. Here's the burst of speed. That is not a bad effort at all from a 35-year-old. Taribio defying the years, trying to break away from Italy, but it's only going to be 2 or 3 seconds at the very most. That's a good point of the hill to go, isn't it, Ian? If you can go over the top of the hill with an extra kilometre and a half an hour, that lead will grow and grow and grow on the downhill section.
And especially, I mean, if you feel you've got it in your legs to be able to do that, then coming around down this 20-25 seconds coming down here, if you've got legs full of lactic acid and you've just gone over the red line, this little hill here hurts so much compared to the way it would if you were just under the red line.
Yeah, great feet, quick feet from Tariabo. And again, just extends another half a second or so ahead of the Italians. But the Italians are not giving up at this stage. Bianat has had a fantastic day out. 48:37 on the clock. The chasers trailing now. Norway lead, Italy in second, the Swiss and the Swedes and the Czechs fighting it out for that third place. France are coming, they were 1:14 behind. We should get a split on the French pretty shortly, and if they can get within 10 seconds of the three teams in front, then a podium finish is very, very possible, as they have Fillon Maillet, a former overall World Cup winner, on the anchor leg for them.
Johannes против...
He gets to go first in the mixed relay here, but he has not got much of a lead over Giacomel of Italy, who is on sensational form. What does he do here? Does he have the cheek to close those 5 seconds?
Oh, he is going to push so hard to get on Johannes's tail, because he knows that changes the psychology of the race. As long as Johannes feels he's got a little bit of a gap, he will feel he can control the race. Once Giacomo is on his tail, he sort of hands over control to the youngster, the upstart, who is challenging on his own in his own backyard. And I think Johannes will be slightly nervous now.
Ребят, ну что, делаем ставки?
Sweden, Czech Republic in third and fourth at the moment. When they came out of the range, Sweden were 50 seconds down, though that time has already come and gone, so the pace at the front from Tariabo was something else. He has absolutely opened up a chasm between himself and position 3, 1:02. Czech Republic at 1:02 as well, having been 52 behind, so they've lost 10 seconds. And Switzerland going through in 5th. The French, last time we saw, were in 6th position at 1:14, so Perrault hasn't been able to survive the pace. That was a devastating lap from Norway's Tariabo. Germany, they were in it for a while, but a couple of shaky shoots, and they have dropped down into 7th position, 1:44.
Johanneski, он только 7-й. Со штрафным кругом.
Is this going to be one of those races where we see two minor teams, two lesser-known teams on the podium?
I'd love to see Switzerland come through again.
Is that Poland about to be lapped?
Гоняет кругового Johannes.
11, Belgium.
I think it's Canada, team 18.
Was that 18, was it?
That's a surprise. Boy, and they're not slow, the Canadians. But Johannes is pulling away hard here.
Thomas Giacomel.
It's only a 2-kilometre lap, isn't it? So I guess it's not a surprise.
Ну что-то он отстал уже от Йоханнеса. Я так думаю. Ребят, кто зашел, всем привет. Тот биатлон, смешанная эстафета. Последний этап.
Realistic chance of a podium for Switzerland, the Czech Republic and Sweden. France are 22 seconds behind them, Ian. That's still quite a big margin. We've only got 2 shoots to go, but with the pace that's being skied out there, I suspect we're going to see a lot of red
15
flashes
секунд
come the
уже
next shoot.
проигрывает. 15 секунд ужас. Ребят, ставьте лайки, кому не трудно для продвижения трансляции, чтобы интереснее было смотреть.
And of these 3, I've got to hand it to Seb Stolder, who's currently the 3rd in the red suit, red and white suit there, and he's the guy who I think is going into this first shoot, or I would say the next 2 shoots, with the most confidence.
Ужасно мутное изображение. Шестеренка с качеством мне помогает. Но вот я не знаю, с телефона смотрю, вроде нормальное качество. Первая стрельба Лёшка, 4-й это промах Йоханнес. Может быть, у вас с интернетом проблема? Он закрывает. Чисто Италия.
In such a situation, I thought we might see him rush it, but no chance. He keeps Italy in with a chance, and the cheer will tell Johannes Tingesbo that Italy are up and away, and he'll know that he's only got 5 or 6 seconds to play with as they start the second of 3 laps. It's coming down to the wire.
There's 2 very different types of pressure on these 2 guys now. One is expected to win because he's the leader and he's the world's best. The other is expected to win because he's on home soil and he's on great form.
Good battle for 2nd and 3rd as well. So far, no opportunity for Sweden, Switzerland or the Czech Republic to move up into the top 2. Ponsaloma, partner of Hannah Erberg, who
чисто закрывает Мартин Понсилома.
Stalder for Switzerland. He doesn't miss very often, and he doesn't miss on this occasion. And the Czech Republic could be losing their opportunity here. France with Fiolmaye, first target down. Germany, in they come. They'll be delighted that France are alongside them. After a victory in the single mixed relay earlier on today, I think Germany were expecting something pretty special.
Чехия закрывает до патронами. Германия. Бенедикт долю. Промах. 2 промаха.
Now.
Oh well.
Минута 32 Франция проигрывает. Бенедикт доля на штрафной круг, к сожалению.
Surely not. He can't miss 5 in a row. No, he gets the last one down, so limits it to 1 penalty loop for Germany. And at this stage, with just 1 shoot remaining, we can sign them off. They will not be taking part in the second medal ceremony of the day, having been top dogs in the single mixed relay this morning.
Well, this man is pulling away, Patrick. He gained 10 seconds on Giacomo by the 20.7 kilometre point. That gap is bigger than it looks, and I think Johannes Tingis is just showing what he can do, even when potentially one of the other fastest skiers in the world is right on his tail.
Потому что я с телефоном тоже смотрю.
Second place is worth celebrating for the Italians. I don't think they'll mind too much about being beaten by the Norwegians. They've given them a good run for their money. Johannes Tingesbo, often in this sort of situation, Ian, he'll take his time and then he will go rapid fire. Whether it's as quick as we saw from Vitozzi earlier on today, I don't know. But it will be a spectacular shoot, and he usually signs it off with 5 with 5. But you never know.
That's true, yep. We'll find out in the next minute.
And I think this is ominous for the rest of the World Cup tour, because when Johannes Tingesbø skis away from Jacquemelle, you know he is on fire.
Yeah, it would suggest that the timing of his season is going extremely well. But it could all change. I mean, everything could go wrong.
Проигрывает 13-1.
Has crumbled before, despite everything looking like it should go well.
Yeah, but that usually comes when he has a minute and a half's advantage. He seems to be better when he's sort of 10 or 15 seconds clear.
That is true, yeah. And I think this man, I think the gap and the last time they were in the range, Ponsiloma, because the race ahead of him had already left and there was a big enough gap for him to ignore it now. He then got down and 5 with 5, good, clean shots. And I think he often does that, Ponsiloma. He almost needs to not be in the race in order to have a good performance.
Yeah. So here come Norway, 14
Заключительная стрельба, ребят.
in its history. Gold in the Olympics in Beijing, gold in the World Championships in Oberhof last year. And Arne Kleiben Knotten watch on as their team leader prepares for the final shoot of the day. Expect it rapid.
Как с пулемета. Победа, я думаю, Норвегия. С полетчиком Милмаш.
Now he's put silver medal in jeopardy a little.
Well, yeah, that's a good shoot.
Закрывает док патроны. Второе место будет в Италии.
And yes, it means a lot to the Italians to get on the podium in Antolt. Jacquemelle has been outstanding, but take nothing away from Vera and Vitozzi, who did their jobs perfectly. Sweden, now they do have something to lose. If it goes wrong for Ponsiloma here, Switzerland will be on them.
Yep, and that would be deserved. I hope Ponsiloma does it. I'd love to see him get some success right now, but Seb Stolder is on great form and usually seizes upon these opportunities.
Well, this is an opportunity. 3 rounds, 2 targets, and Stolder has been very, very good in the shooting position this year. 4 out of 4, 5 out of 5. They're back into the podium positions.
Борьба за третье место.
Ponsiloma's going to have to ski a bit, but he is the quicker of the two. So Switzerland's podium is not guaranteed. I think Stolder's best bet here, Ian, is to tuck in behind Ponsiloma, stay with him for as long as possible, and just hope he can outwit him in the last 400 meters.
Well, I agree, but I think Ponsiloma's canny enough to know that that's what
Я думаю, тут Понсилома победит Столдера.
Way up what's going behind him, and Fiolmeier isn't that far behind, but he'll bide his time and pick his moment, and I think we'll see Ponsiloma cruise into the finish with a reasonable gap. I'm not expecting a fight to the line.
That is some finish, and I think he's probably cemented his position in the single mixed relay, the mixed relay, the relay for the World Championships in Novi Mesto. And I think on current form we're going to see him as the anchorman rather than Christiansen.
Well, that's possibly true, isn't it? I mean, it's starting to become the Bow brothers as the last two. They almost owe each other a good performance, don't they?
Ребят, ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал, завтра будут старты. Также проведем это время.
Of course, the America's Cup. I wonder whether we could have the Bow brothers taking on the rest of the world. They're probably too okay. They're probably too okay in a single mixed relay.
Just as well there isn't 3 of them. So Stolder, he's looking around as well, weighing things up. He knows what's happening here. He knows that Ponsiloma can be rapid when he wants to be.
Yeah, and Ponsaloma is waiting for the meadow. It's the longest, it's the steepest, it's the hardest hill here in Antalt. And Jacquemelle is just approaching the top of that section. That is where Sweden are likely to try and break clear of Switzerland. Stolder has to be building himself, preparing himself for the effort. Here it comes, and he's just winding up slowly, and no real response from Stolder so far. He's let that slipstream break, and Sweden securing their third place. Good week though for Switzerland, Ian. Brilliant win yesterday for Heikki Gross in the women's short individual, and their performances today have been outstanding.
Yes, the Swiss team have really performed brilliantly, the whole team. It's a great atmosphere amongst the Swiss, and even, who is it, the coach for the Swedish team, Jean-Marc Chablons. I lost his name for a second, but he'll be delighted. Obviously a Swiss athlete himself, disappointed that his home nation aren't on the podium, but pleased that the team he works for have fought their way through to get that bronze medal.
Бронзовая медаль будет у Швеции. Франция мне топом.
99% of his focus, I guess, on Norway. But what a job he has done for the Norwegian team. I don't think
первое место.
the Norwegian team who would disagree
Джонни Арниклев, Каролина Кноттен, Дари Бё и Йоханнес Бён занимают первое место. Норвегия. 8 допов.
1:04.36 the winning time, and that is what 4 minutes quicker than we saw in Östersund at the start of the season.
Второе место Италия. Доротея Вирер, Лиза Витоци, Дида Бианаси, Томас Чекми.
So a brilliant result for Giacomo. He'll be delighted with that.
Yeah, and the Italians, you can see from their reaction that they are not disappointed with second place. The best of the rest behind an outstanding team, Norway. 2020, the last time we had a mixed relay here, Roysland and Eckhoff on the first two legs dominated, and then the two Burr brothers did it again on that occasion with Johannes, but he did miss in the standing position, which gave Italy a chance. So top two in the same position. Czech Republic were third on that occasion. They were in the running for a long time today, but in the end, Sweden coming through to take the third podium slot.
Третье место Анна Магнуссон, Эльвира Оберг, Еспер Неллин и Мартин Пансилома. Спасибо вам, что зашли. Заходите еще. Всех ждем. Всем рады. Четвертая Швейцария, пятая Франция. Что опять залагало, по-моему.
Yeah, really exciting for the Italians. France, I think, in the end, fifth is okay, but their opportunity of going for mixed relays in succession has gone. They have to start that run again as soon as they can. 1:33 the margin. The Czech Republic, they were there for three legs, Ian, and then I think the pressure probably getting too much. Mikiska on that ankle leg, dropping down into
Афанасий Борщев, ну, если вам не больно, можете найти какой-нибудь.
Germany also on the penalty loop today, which hasn't done them any good at all, twice in fact.
Я как бы тут никого насильно не держу. Если что. Австрия седьмая. Спасибо.